But right now, this is all about you, man. So we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off and kind of let you take it away. It's all about your secrets to success. They're really not secrets, right? But I'm going to kind of let you share your journey up to this point and, the different things that have worked good for you being, a teacher and busy and being a coach on top of all that. So I know it's going to be very, very valuable for those that tune in and get to watch it, man. So AJ, I'll let you kind of take it away and let you introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, AJ. I've been teaching for about 10 years now, and pretty much have the same, I guess, or had the same issues that most dads have had in the past as far as like being really busy. I have two young girls, 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. I got my beautiful wife, and she's also a teacher. So we pretty much split our house that way in 2 different school districts between the 2 of us. And our 7-year-old is in a 3rd school district. So she's in a completely different program than what we're in. So three schedules operating differently, going different places. And that was now. And, leading up to this point, I coach baseball. I'm a basketball coach. I'm a student government sponsor. So I have a lot on my plate all year round. And, I just got to the point where after I was playing college baseball and I started teaching, I really just let myself go. I mean, the stress of being in the real world, with teaching and everything and the requirements and expectations there really kind of weighed me down, and then really started just literally weighed me down by just stress eating and not exercising or taking care of myself like I, would have in the past. So, when I, like started looking into this program, it was kind of like perfect timing because COVID hit and I was struggling mightily health wise and like mental health, just needing something to kind of work in my favor. I worked really hard between January and spring break of losing weight, which is pretty much my tradition every single year of yo-yo dieting and winning the staff, diet contest and stuff, which is brutal.
You should only have to win that once.
I know. I won it. I'm a 3-time winner in like 9 years. So that's not good. Yeah. Just go from like 272 to 245. And literally all I do is run and eat like 1,200 calories. And that's awful. So at least I know now. So yeah. But when COVID hit, our baseball season canceled. I mean, literally it was just trying to survive school and finish out the year that way. And I found out during that time, my father was hiding diabetes from me and my brothers. I'm the oldest of 4 boys in my family. The youngest is 17 in high school. And one of my brothers actually just celebrated his 26th birthday today.
Wow.
And so I felt like, once we found out about my dad, I'm like, man, like I can't be that guy. Like I don't want to deal with my girls trying to figure out where his dad going to be health wise. Because I've been, diagnosed with high blood pressure anyway, and I'm only 33 years old, and I've been doing that for over 3 years. So I know something had to change, and just came across the Facebook ad. Facebook reads minds, I think, every time that you're searching for something. And I saw the Forge Father ad, and it was like maybe a week or so before June when I clicked on it and investigated, started listening to some of the podcasts, and I was like, oh, this is it. I'm in. And yeah, fully committed myself. So
yeah, man. And I remember that, and I didn't have the initial conversation with you. As one of my coaches, Chris, that had the conversation.
Chris, yeah.
I remember like going back to that point in, so leading up to obviously being a teacher and this whole, what we're dealing with right now, that's not easy with all the changes and all the things that you're having to deal with it in that regard. On top of that, you got 2 kids at home, your wife, and she works at a completely different school, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's like scattered, like kids are going different places. Your wife's going here, you're going here. On top of that, you're trying to coach. So, the biggest struggle for you starting off was really just the busyness of life, right? Add in all the other stuff too, right? And just overwhelmed, stressed out, and you like to eat when you're stressed. Well, that's what you like to do before, right?
Right. Now I like to work out. Stressed,
yeah. So. And you get to eat more, which is a benefit, right? So, but leading up to, so you saw the ad, clicked on it, and you did a little bit of research, came across all the podcasts, stuff like that. and then you had your conversation with Chris, but you still were kind of on the fence, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I mean, it was like, it almost felt like, everything leading up to it was like, all right, this is too good to be true. Like, it just seems like there's something here, like a catch or something. I always see, I was like, back in my mind, it's a Facebook ad. I mean, what am I going to expect? But yeah, like I was hesitant at first for sure. And then it really seemed like once I committed and I said yes, and I'm going to do it. And I dove in and I started to see, because initially my personality, like I'm a coach. So like I'm drawn to people who are leaders, and, like I have a growth mindset already. I like reading, I like diving into books and stuff. And so when I got in and I saw like, the different guys that, I was going to be connected to, and how much they were willing and wanted to get, grow with me, that really helped. I mean, it was just like that brotherhood that, um, really, really helped motivate me. And I know like that was one of the things like, we talk about in the group is, you don't want to be fueled on motivation. You want to get into being disciplined. And initially, I bought in because of motivation, and then I learned discipline along the way. But yeah, I was definitely hesitant at first, just because I just thought it was one of those, we'll solve all your problems type of deals. But I mean,
Yeah, and it's natural to feel that way because I mean the amount of stuff that's out there now, especially with like COVID hit, all these gyms closed down. It was interesting from my perspective, and I think I talked about this in the Brotherhood uh, a couple of different times. But I'm like, all right, all this stuff is starting to roll out. You're starting to see these online coaches pop up. They're experts and they've been doing this for however long now. And it's like it's very interesting because that was back in like February, March when it really started to blow up. And it's interesting, you see these programs pop out, and I come across the ads too. I see the ads come up on my feed. I'm just like, that's funny. That's interesting. That ad says the same thing that this other one does, right? So
every time, it's funny
like,
because
like
I'm not going to call any of those groups out. I'm not going to call any of those other guys out, but like, I'll have baseball guys that are coming in, I'm like, hey, what workout you doing? And like, oh, I'm connected to this, look at this app and stuff. I'm like, oh, I've seen that ad. Like, it's just, it became clickbait, and it was just normal, at that point, when we're in COVID season trying to figure out what to do. But this is, I mean, I can vouch for this. This is real.
Yeah, you've been doing a hell of a job, and obviously it takes the individual to follow through with the tools that you were given, the frameworks, and the tactics and strategies are one thing, but then it's, you mentioned motivation got you started, absolutely, but I mean, you look at everything out there, that's really the extent of it. It gets you motivated to start, but then what's going to keep you going? And I think, looking at the community that we have, you mentioned, when you came in initially and you surrounded yourself around the other guys that have been in the program, the other guys that even started with you, you're like, all right, these are the types of individuals that I need to surround myself with. And it's just, we all grow together and we all go through struggles together. It's not a perfect journey. Obviously, it's not just like, oh, you join this and poof, everything magically, has happened, right? It's like, no, you still got to show up and put in the work. So, but thinking about, where you were before you joined, like what were some of the things that you were trying? So you mentioned you used to run quite a bit, eating like 1,200 calories. Yeah. Outside of that, like what else were you trying to do to lose the weight? Because you won these challenges. You're like a 3-year winner of this challenge. Like
at school every single year, rolling it January after break, and everyone weighs in, and you just go until spring break, and whoever lost, we do it on percentage of weight lost. Mm-hmm. So that way it's fair for guys and girls. And I mean, every year I throw in my $5 and I do it. And so, sometimes it was nice spending money on spring break and stuff, but I mean, literally it was like, I knew after spring break, I'm in the midst of baseball season. And so there's stress. And so I'm not working out, I'm not running as much, and I'm eating poorly, not consistent at all as far as diet goes. And then, the summer hits and I'm out of school, and my summer job is, you think I'd be exercising, I'm walking farm fields all day. So I scout crops in the summer, and I'm in Indiana. So tons of corn, tons of beans. I'm just walking fields, and, just, horrible diet then, gas station food in the morning, you may eat your packed lunch, but then you're coming home and, you're probably just lounging by the pool and, drinking a few beers and eating pizza and, grilling steaks out every night and just carb and stuff, but like no real exercise after, walking all day. that was my routine. And then I would say that like the one thing that I tried to do that helped a little bit was a year ago in the fall, there were a bunch of coaches online that wanted to do like a weight loss contest, and it was like a body transformation challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped into it with my brother. And so we were in it with a bunch of other coaches from around the country, and it went really well. It was all based on like what we were doing. The accountability was, here's your before picture, and here's 60 days later, here's your after picture.
Yeah.
And you paid $25, and I think the guy made a lot of cash on this, but you pay $25 and you get, there's like a $500 prize or something at the end, and anyone that joined. So we did that in the fall last year, and that helped, but I was still not eating the right way, and I wasn't consistent, especially once basketball season. And then when baseball got shut down and we were locked in, I mean that was gone. So I went back from losing from like 260 pounds down to 240, and by the time I signed up for this, I mean, I was back up over 265 pounds, pushing 270.
Yeah.
Now I'm bouncing around between 230 and 232. So it's just like, it's such a huge difference when you're consistent.
Yep. And that was kind of the thing that you're going through before then, is kind of like those short bursts of, okay, I'm going to eat super low calories, run, work out, but then you weren't building any type of foundation at that point, because, we were going down and then we were coming back up, going down, coming back up, which is typical. You see that a lot. I mean, January's coming around, so a lot of guys are going to be jumping on something similar to that, do some quick fix meal template, or just, okay, clean up your food and eat less. And that's going to be short lived without other things in place. Right. And so
Right.
You came into the Forge Father. We started, I mean, you literally just put your head down, started doing work right away, started chipping away at, the different frameworks and tasks and, things that were being laid out for you. And so what were some of the big changes that I guess you started to go through initially? Like, obviously training was a part of it. Nutrition is a big piece of it, but for you, like, what was the real transition point there?
Honestly, I want to say it was probably the lessons that we were learning early on in the first few weeks alone, like really figuring out like what my why was, like why I was doing it. When we talk our MVP, what's my purpose for everything. And, I plan a lot already, and I always think ahead, but it was just like that was it for me. Like really putting perspective in it, really taking time down to write it out, and then apply it. And then anytime when I felt like I was slacking or I wasn't feeling up to it, I just look at it again. Like I look at, this is my purpose. I immediately start thinking about, here's my father and his situation, here's my two girls. And then, I didn't bring it up, but like later that spring is when, we found out my wife, she's due in January now. So it's like I have a third one on the way. Well, it just piles on. And I was just like, really it was those lessons. And then once I dove in, and I was like, it was every morning I'd wake up before I go to work and work, walk the fields. I'd walk outside, and it was nice and cool in the morning, and I do my no gear workout every morning, so then I'd go to work and I'd walk all day and come home, and, I felt accomplished. Like I worked out already, and I got my, job done, and I'm not home. And now and the crazy part is after a few weeks, I had all this energy still where I could hang out with my girls and, not feel bad about like working all day. I didn't have to come home, take a nap or sleep or anything. It was just like, I just had this new energy. So the summer was really good, for like, really giving me that foundation. And then, as I started my real job teaching again, it seemed like a really easy transition, to get back in the weight room, which was awesome. So, throwing big around, but, just change of planning. But yeah, it's the learning. I think it was the lessons. It's really just being thoughtful about why I'm doing this. As much as I want to feel good and look good, but it's like I'm doing it because I want to be around a long time for them. So, yeah.
Yep. It's those deeper lessons that we uncover along the journey. And it's one of the things that we do right away is, the truth, MVP. And then obviously we adapt those codes and we basically bring them into our lifestyle, make them a part of who we are. Because one thing that you mentioned was, the motivation. Like motivation got you started, but if we really look back at what you've done in the past, like you were always doing it because you're motivated, you're a part of some challenge, some
Right.
short-term thing. And while that's great, that's going to create leverage and pressure to get you going. What's going to keep you going, right? Like, let's make this the last challenge you ever do because you've changed yourself, not just habits for a short period of time. And you hit it right on the head. I mean, I think one of the biggest secrets to success is just knowing what it is you want and then connecting the why to what it is you want. Like, I want this because, and so for you, it's an easy decision to get up early in the morning and work out because it's going to put you in a better position to achieve what you want. That's longevity, health, being around for your daughters, right? Which is, it's the same thing for me, and same thing for every other dad that's in the fourth father. It's like we get clear on the vision, we tie it to that purpose, and then the mission becomes easy. And the mission is just, that's what we can change and shift and tweak. Like you said, you're doing no gear workouts at the start. A lot of guys, in this time right now, they're saying they can't work out because they don't have a gym. COVID closed my gym down. What am I supposed to do? Figure it out, right? Like, if your vision, that vision that you have for yourself means that much to you, like the purpose is there, you're going to find the desire to do what it is that you need to do. That's where that discipline is developed. And then it's smooth sailing. Well, not smooth sailing from there, but it's just like things just start to automatically happen. Like for you, I would say like habits, behaviors, routines have just greatly shifted because of the amount of stress, all that stuff that you're taking on right now. Like you're just, it's not a thing for you anymore. So that's like the biggest transition.
It's like this weekend I already mentioned, we started virtual learning. So kids are not in the building. I mean, some are here and there, but like most of them are at home. I mean, I've had my youngest 3-year-old with me every day in my classroom. So because of childcare issues, she's had to come in with me, which has been great. And, like, it's just like, we talk about it in the group, like I get to do that, I get to bring her in, which is awesome. And so she's on my lap messing around when I'm Zooming with the kids. And, I'm not getting frustrated at all. Like, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I'd rather have her on my lap bugging me while I'm trying to teach these kids than, at home or, at the babysitter. Like, I don't get those moments very often.
Yeah.
Then I'm at school all day coaching and I'm getting my workout in. And then, finally I'm home. It's like, man, no, this is awesome. Like, I get to hang out with her all day. Mm-hmm. So that's been pretty cool. And I think most people probably be stressed out with that. And, through our lessons and through your coaching on Tuesdays, like I think the big one was just a few weeks ago, just breaking through the barriers of how to react in situations, pause and reflecting on, really what can I control?
Yep.
And, figuring out from there. I mean, this is the season for that. I mean, just things that are out of our control, like, if COVID's shutting the gym down, then what can you control? Everyone knows what a push-up and a sit-up is. Everyone knows what a burpee is. It sucks.
Yeah.
But,
it's easy to do it. I know those.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know, YouTube and, it's a beautiful thing. There's so much information out there just to be active just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I always used to think I never had time for any of that stuff, but it's you find time when you figure out that, man, I really had time to do all this. I wonder what I'd be now if I knew this 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I wish I would have known, or at least had this work ethic or discipline when I was in college or high school even.
I've heard that multiple times.
It sucks. Honestly, looking back, I look at my 17-year-old brother. I'm like, dude, you better not mess this up.
Yeah.
I'm getting in better shape than him almost. And I'm just like, you better not screw this up, man. You're throwing 90 already. Like, you better lock it up.
That's impressive. That's real impressive. Yeah. And I mean, multiple guys have mentioned that. I even say it's like, if I knew, and of course you can say this about a lot of stuff, obviously, as you continue in life and you learn and experience and gain wisdom through application, trial and error and all this stuff. You always get to a point where you're like, man, if I had known this years ago, everything would be different. And of course it would be, but it's like, we are where we are now. And so it's like, you got to take what you have and you got to continue to grow. You got to continue to change and, push forward with everything that we're doing. So, but no, man, like overall, like results wise, so you're almost at the 40-pound mark, aren't you?
Getting close. So
just almost down 40 pounds. Yeah. 40 pounds down. Gosh, you're down quite a bit body fat percentage wise.
Yeah. I just found there's a company here, not too far, that I can go and get that nice sensor done.
Yep.
And really figure out where I'm at, but my home sensor has me down about 7%. So
Yeah, that's probably about right. Based off of like your pictures. The one thing that I thought was cool, you posted that video in the group, jumping and grabbing the rim. Like it was easy.
yeah,
Like you weren't even warmed up or anything. You like kind of ran over there and just jumped up and grabbed the rim. So that was pretty cool.
yeah, well, because the basketball players have been around a while, so they've
Yeah.
seen me to jump, and I play
Yeah.
against like I don't jump, like I never leave my feet. Every time I've left my feet, I rolled my ankle or broke my foot, like it's inevitable. And then yeah, at practice I was like, hey, hold my phone for me. Like why? And I'm like, I'm gonna go see if I can grab the rim. Well, when I went up, I grabbed it with two hands. I'm like, holy smokes! Like I was shocked. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if I was able to like actually grab the rim with two hands in high school. Like
Yeah.
it just never a thing. So now I'm doing it easy. So I'm dunking tennis balls now.
There
So
you go.
yeah, my goal is to dunk by the end of basketball season. I'm not sure
There
if
you go.
I'm gonna keep trying. I'm getting my plyout workout in at every practice. So
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and it's just, combination, nutrition, training. Like as far as like the training and nutrition, like what's been the biggest thing for you in regards to, helping you make this progress up to this point?
I would say the planning on like what fuel I'm going to have
Mm-hmm.
uh, and when I'm going to have it. That's been a huge difference for me. Um, we talked about like being motivated and stuff earlier, but like when you're in the brotherhood, like you're constantly motivated, really, in a lot of ways because you see the other guys post, you see what they're doing. You're tracking guys like we're doing the Trident Challenge now, so you see what guys are putting up in Watify and the leaderboard, and you're like, oh, I can do that today. I feel like I can do that today. And then so it's like you get these battles going a little bit, and that's awesome. But I think it's the planning of my fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on track with that, even on days where you're not as active, as long as you're hitting your fuel, it makes such a big difference as far as energy, how you feel, like what you're putting in your body. And it's always funny too. Like I laugh when people are like, well, like we had staff carrying a couple days ago or last week, and like, well, sorry, there's no healthy options for you, Rise. And I'm like, that's okay. Like I'll just put it in my plan. Like I'll adjust. It's fine. Like I'll eat what you have. It's no big deal. I'll try this little pumpkin spice little dip thing you got going. Looks good.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the only question I asked the lady, I was like, is this a Weight Watchers recipe? And she goes, yeah, how'd you know? I was like, just a guess. And I just looked it up. Where's the recipe online? As I plugged it in, it was like, I didn't even have to like guess. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's the planning, really. So
yeah, planning is everything. I mean, when we start to look at your training, like you mentioned earlier, you would wake up early, you would get your training done because you knew that was really the only time that you're going to be able to get it done. So that opened up, a whole new experience for you when you got home. You had more energy, and you didn't have that cloud like hanging over your head. Oh, I didn't work out yet. I feel like crap. I haven't, trained, and you miss that. It kind of ruins everything else. And so just planning ahead and then having the discipline to get it done in the morning and, coming home, you're able to focus in on that relationship piece. Right. So, but yeah, planning.
And that was a fear too. Like, in the summer when I first started the, program, I started getting into it and I knew I wasn't like disciplined yet. Like I knew, like I always had that little guy in my mind that was always talking, which we always have. I mean, it shows up every once in a while for everybody. But I was like, if I don't do this in the morning, if I do not wake up and commit to this, I know I'm going to go all day during work and I'm going to come home and if I'm not motivated in the morning, I know I'm probably not going to be motivated or disciplined to do it at night. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I need to kick my ass out of bed and I need to do it. And so, once I got a hang of that and I just ingrained myself, like I'm going to do it in the morning, I'm going to do it in the morning, then, that's, it kind of just, I got over myself really, that guy talking to me in my head. So that helped. Yeah.
Yep. Gotta feed the right dog, as they say, right? Like you got two dogs.
Right. That's right.
Feed the right dog. So
I have that in my room.
How's that quote go?
I forget. I know it's in my room. It's on my.
Like there's two dogs. We got to feed the right one.
That's all I say though. I was just like, hey, make sure you're feeding the right dog today.
Yep. A lot of ways you could think about it, but I mean, we all deal with the same thing. And like you said, he comes back. He comes back often, and so that's really when you start to refer back to your vision and your purpose. And then the mission becomes very, very easy at that point, like doing what you need to do. And I think that's, for the most part, that's what most guys struggle with, is the motivation and just pushing through those hard times where the resistance is very, very heavy, and that guy's very, very loud inside of your head. It's like, okay, well, this is a perfect opportunity for you to show up and, as we say, be that uncommon man, you know, do the uncommon thing in this situation, which is do the work. Don't, take the easy route out, So, but dude, it's been incredible. I'm excited for what waits ahead, not only with the end of this year, but then this coming year. A lot of awesome stuff on the horizon, man. So, I guess looking at this journey as a whole from your side, like what has the biggest win been for you up to this point?
Well, I don't know if I'm scared really anymore, to be honest. Like I don't think about, my blood pressure. I don't think about whether or not I'm going to get diabetes or anything like that. I think the fear is kind of gone. I think, when I wake up and I look at myself or my wife says something to me and it's just like, it just feel there's a completely different feeling. Like quite honestly, I haven't taken my blood pressure medicine in I don't know how long. I have my own blood pressure, thing here at home and stuff. I can check it and I'm fine. Like I just, even though my doctor probably would say, you should probably keep taking it, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Like I had a completely different feeling than what I ever had before. And I think it's just that fear is gone. I think I just finally kicked it to the curb and I'm just like, I know that I'm a different person than what I was, 5 months ago. So yeah, I think that's my biggest win is that I'm not scared anymore. I'm looking forward to all the other challenges.
Yeah,
Like,
that's incredible, man. I like how you
stuff.
put
I haven't
that.
done that Spartan race.
Yep.
For that. So
Yeah. And really, when we start to think about fear, fear is going to be there when you're not doing the work, period. Like when you mentioned, you're not afraid anymore of things that can certainly be prevented. So high blood pressure, you mentioned your father has diabetes, those types of things. Like we continue to live in fear and we don't take the actions that we need to take. Or maybe we do, but we're not consistent enough. And so then we put ourselves in a position where we are extremely out of shape, we're overweight. And now you got this fear in the back of your mind. It's like, oh my gosh, like when is something bad going to happen? Am I going to feel like death or, whatever? And so erasing that fear is huge because now it's just like, you're just at a drop of a hat, you got the fitness, you got the health, you got the energy to just do what you want to do. And obviously you're showing up better as a dad, you're showing up better as a husband, a producer, and then even as an athlete. So those 4 roles that we really focus in on building up inside the program. And I love that, man, is the fear is gone. Obviously the fear is still there. And
yeah,
we get scared of all sorts of things. But when we think about from just the health and longevity side of things, that you should be able to erase that fear, which that's what you've done, man. So that's great.
yeah, that fear is, just knowing that I don't have to worry about it anymore. Like you said, is, made all those other things so much better. Like relationship with my wife is so much better. My relationship with my kids is so much better. My outlook on how I can help my athletes too. I mean, just even like the lessons I get from you and the coaching and just that perspective, it's completely different. It's just simple things that we can apply to everyday life that, like literally I can say that like my teaching in the classroom, just from general education standpoint, is better just because of, what I've been able to do, through, Forge Father. Like it just, because, I'm a father to two girls and, another baby on the way. But like, I mean, I parent all these kids. It seems like, at school, like that's kind of my role. When I got into education and coaching, that's been my mission. I always thought that God put me in that position that this is my mission field. This is what I needed to do. And, I feel like he called it kind of the same way. I clicked on the banner on Facebook, and then all of a sudden now, like this whole new world of information has come my way, and perspective and lessons. And I mean, every week I'm getting something new from Forge Father. So it's been awesome. So everything that you're doing is greatly appreciated, man. I mean, it's phenomenal work that you're doing with us. Thank you for real.
No, I appreciate that, man. And I think it really ties into, something that you just hit on, because I've had this conversation a lot of times with other dads that are coaches in a similar position as you. And we were talking more about this before we hit record. And that was the fact that like this time of year is crazy. Add in COVID, we're all busy. We're all stressed. We got the holidays coming up. So we got that stress coming, and it just really starts to weigh you down. And it's interesting when I've had conversations with other, dads that are coaches in this similar position that you were in, something that has popped up many a times is like the fact that I'm a coach, but I don't feel like a leader. I don't have the confidence in what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is kind of like you almost feel like a fraud, like you're trying to coach people, whether it be in sports or, whatever, to like go work hard, go put in the effort, be disciplined, but then you're not doing it yourself. And so, yeah, you are going to feel like a fraud and there's going to be a disconnect and people can like feel it. Right. And so you already know, like part of what we do inside of Forge Father and like part of like who you need to become is you just got to show up and you got to be that leader. And leaders do what, most people won't. Again, it ties into that uncommon man, right?
Right.
Like show up, be an uncommon man, lead from the front, just lead by example. And everything else will start to unfold and you'll start to experience like, hey, this has improved, my life as a dad. This has improved my life as a husband. This has improved my life as a producer. And then, of course, you get that athlete edge back. I mean, that feels freaking amazing, So, but no, big respect to you. Huge appreciation to you. I mean, you make what I do seem easy, right? Like I said, when you came in the program, it's just you put your head down. And I think part of that is that you're a coach too. And you said, you have that growth mindset. And I think you understand that you build by doing, right? And you change by doing. So it's been incredible, man. And I always just look forward to the posts that you put up because, I mean, you're firing other guys up in the group. You're leading from the front, leading by example. And it's, you're creating a lot of impact in your life as well. So keep on doing it, brother. Appreciate it. Heck yeah. So, well, cool. We'll go ahead and close things down. And, as we close out here, AJ, like is there anything else that you want to say or throw out there? Maybe say something to your old self.
Grow a pair.
Grow a pair. Heck yeah.
I mean, geez. Man, I don't know. Like I said, like, thank you. That's the biggest thing I can say is, I don't know if there's enough gratitude that I can send your way with, just the example that you've set for us. And I mean, anyone that's hesitant or, has been waiting, trying to figure out whether or not they want to buy into this. I mean, holy smokes, man, like, come on in. Like, there's so many tools in this program and Forge Father. There's like, it's countless, it's endless. And the support is phenomenal. I mean, we've seen guys, at their best. I've seen guys at their worst. And, I've been a part of that too. Like, I've been down with injury, whatever, but like, there's so much support. Guys rally around each other. It's awesome. So yeah, it's just, I mean, if you're not in, man, get in. But you got to be committed. That's for sure. You got to be uncommon. So
yep.
That's what we surround ourselves around. So it's awesome.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate you, man. And excited for you. Number 3 coming up. You're probably going to have my luck and, get another girl, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Girl dad for life, buddy.
So heck yeah, man. Well, cool, AJ. I appreciate you for coming on again. Hopefully some people out there, I always say, whether you, decide to take that step forward and, join the Forge Father, or you go join another program or whatever, that's at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is the individual himself. You take a look in the mirror and you make that commitment to yourself to change, period. Like, that's how transformation is going to happen. And again, if that's with us, that's with something else, doesn't matter. You got to make that change for yourself and that commitment to yourself. So that's huge, man. So awesome, brother. Keep leading from the front. I will see you very, very soon. We got our Tuesday live coming up here in about 15 minutes. So
looking forward to it, man.
See you again here real quick. But everybody else out there in Facebook world and on podcast world, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share this. If you got questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll help guide you forward, and we'll see what happens from there. So, AJ, take care, brother. See you on the inside.
Thank you.